We are now 5 wide. Presented by Quick Trip's quality gasoline guarantee. It's just another way Quick Trip has you covered.
9 to noon, ready to go. Armin is out today. Load management. We could use more load management amongst all of us. Josh is sick as a dog. Billy, you are now very much under the weather. Kuhn, you seem to be no worse for the wear coming back from New York. I'm just getting over a week
whatever
and
you
a day
gave
or
to
two.
us. Yeah.
Come on.
You got to stop kissing on these road trips up to
Kissing.
Lambeau.
Can't help it. Don't tell me how to
Holding
live my
hands in
life.
the car, gently snuzzling. There are a few things
Do
in
what
life
I want
as
to do. Damn it.
few things in life, boys, as dependable, as ironclad, as the fact a cold will last 7 to 10 days minimum, no matter what. That is the surest bet in life. I don't know what you guys' experience is. I've never had a cold in which I've been able to subdue it in less than 7 days. Never.
You're probably right on that. But there's also the circulation of germs, which I'm learning about. And John, with multiple kids, knows it. Steve, you and multiple kids, you know it as well. That the house will just stay sick for about 6 weeks, because I originally brought it in probably about 4 weeks ago. Then the fiance got it, gave it to the little one. Then the little one gives it to everybody else. And then when the little one's sick, even though you're not sick, you're somehow feeling worse because they're sick. So then you have to take care of that. So it's been,
Bro,
so we're running. We're having fun with it though.
Are you at daycare level? Yeah.
No, but Allie's worked at a daycare for about 10 years. So,
but
so her immune system is impressive. Like to be able to infiltrate that, you got to bring some heavy artillery.
Once the kid's in daycare or school, then you get, for the first time, the back-to-back sick, where the second that the kid brings home the sickness, it makes its way through the family, right? They're okay now, but now the parents are suffering. When the parents are done, the kid has already brought in a new
brings
sickness.
in the new one. Interesting.
And it's just round 2 right back.
Kuhn, how about you?
I mean, you guys aren't preaching anything that everybody who's had kids
Amen.
don't experience for, what is it? 12 years of schooling?
yeah, I was going to say.
Kind of the way that it works.
Yeah.
Just open the windows. Let some fresh air in. Get rid of the germy air.
Honestly, going for a walk does feel much better, even though you bundle up, couple of sweatshirts, roll on through, get a little fresh air, feel good in the neighborhood.
You ever hear George Carlin's famous rant on how your immune system needs practice on germs?
Yes,
like
one of my favorites.
Team.
And don't play.
We talking about practice?
Practice. We talk about practice.
We talking about practice with germs?
Not a game. Not a game. Practice. Okay. So we got some things to talk about in the NFL. Let's start with this. Albert Breer this morning says the health and safety is on the morning agenda at the NFL meetings tomorrow. Is that today? Was this tweet yesterday? Either today or tomorrow. NFL meetings, health and safety. 3 specific plays will be discussed. They include the tush push, the split flow block. Don't even know what that is. Kuhn's going to educate us. And the hip drop tackle, which I know what it is. It's the first time, says Breer, he believes that the brotherly shove has been on the health and safety agenda. Who wants to take the first swing at this?
Well, which one do you want to address? Do you
Tush
want to
push.
address?
Start with that.
Do you want to address the winter meeting health and safety get together just in general?
Yeah,
I just
give me the.
I get caught up in this thing because I feel like before you make massive decisions on roles, and they're probably not going to change anything now, but they're going to preemptively discuss it before they go into the offseason. You got to remove yourself from the emotion of some of these injuries happening. I mean, Tyreek Hill just got injured by a quote unquote hip drop tackle on Monday Night Football. You mean to tell me that's not going to be a little bit emotional in making that decision, right? I feel like there needs to be large sums of evidence that you can put together to try and build a case one way or another versus 2 days. They're just going to look at Tyreek Hill's injury and say, hey, this is one of the stars in the league. He got injured on this play.
Yeah.
Probably not a good thing for us.
Yeah, I agree. Let's start with the tush push. is there a legitimate argument that it's a dangerous play?
No more legitimate than to say football is dangerous.
True.
Thank you. Okay, I agree. This is why they were saying, well, kickoffs, we got to reduce kickoffs because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm like, the whole sport's dangerous. What are you talking about?
Well, now I would say that
yeah.
the tush push is less dangerous than kickoffs and punts. I mean, like special teams where you're getting large amount of momentum, you're keeping everybody in a condensed 3 to maybe 4 yard whole huddle during the quarterback sneak, which is very much giving yourself a lot less variance of people getting hurt.
Okay. Have they made kickoffs safer according to the data, Kuhn?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Removing the wedge eliminates a portion of the kickoff that potentially was exceedingly dangerous than the rest of the play. So I can understand that. But once again, the danger of the game was managed by the players themselves, right? So if you didn't want to take on a wedge of 2 or 3 300-pound linemen, you made a business decision that was made by the player versus decisions being made by the league to try and make the play safer.
You were on that wedge once upon a time, weren't you?
You want me on that wedge.
Need me
how was that?
On that wedge.
What, Uncle John, how was your days in Nam? What was it like, man? What was it like on the wedge, man?
The wedge was crazy because you would be running down the field holding hands with your brothers in arm. And you would just, if you were one of the lucky ones, you just ran on a straight line, holding hands, and just one by one, pew,
just keep getting
and then
caught.
all of a sudden you were running by yourself as people were just flying by you from left to right.
It was like the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, only 5 times a game.
But being, a large fullback at 255 pounds, I'm a small guard. So I was generally the target
you were
on the
dishing
wedge.
out a lot of the pain.
When being teamed up with TJ Lang and Evan Dietrich Smith on the back end, I was the smaller.
God.
I was
You
the
were
business. I was the business decision. As guys were running down, who am I taking on this wedge?
Oh, they were circling you in special teams meetings all week long. Right here.
Yeah.
This is where you're hitting. You're right here on the 0. Right here on the 0 wedge buster.
But you learn, but you learn how to take on the wedge and you learn how to be the wedge. And you very quickly learn, I'm not just running as fast as I can, targeting that guy right down the middle and smacking domes together. At the last second, I'm going to try and get lower, get some leverage, get my head out of the way, get the shoulder pad underneath, and hit this guy. Not everybody made those types of adjustments, and that's why the play ended up being outlawed.
What about the wedge buster, the guy on the kickoff team that had to go in there?
That was the guy who had to make the business decision. That's the dude that ended up having the most peril.
I mean, that was the worst job out there. That was like the guy in Nam that had to go in the tunnels first. Go in that tunnel, see if there's anything in there.
A lot of people make statements like, I'd do anything to play professional football.
Would you?
Yeah. Because I know many players who made the team specifically, not because they ended up being wedge busters, because they weren't the best, but the want to go out and put everything on the line for their coaches and their teams to show, oh, when I talk about it, I will be about it, and I will sacrifice myself as a wedge buster for the betterment of the team. Though I've seen many guys make teams just by going out and saying, look, you will now see that I will do literally anything you ask me to do. And then they're like, all right, well, you're only 180 pounds, so you're going to be a gunner.
Yeah. That's a tough job.
Doesn't exist anymore. That's why it's tough. There's no more wedge busters.
Well, okay, but aren't there still gunners though on the
there
edges?
Are gunners.
On punts?
There are gunners.
Okay, but they don't take on the wedge because there is no wedge. Yeah.
Gunner might be the toughest job now in special teams now that they don't have wedges or wedge busters, because you're regularly faced with a vice or a double team and you got to try and get down the field and make the punt returner move, make the first move. You can't let them just catch the ball and have a free go. So that gunner and vice on the punt return team, those are probably the 2 hardest spots on a special teams now.
Okay, so that's one. What is a split flow block?
That's when you see outside zone or inside zone, but generally outside zone to the right. And then there's a fullback, a tight end, or a U, and they come from the right side behind the line of scrimmage and kick out or cut the backside end.
Okay. I believe, is this the same as a quote sift block, which is something Cooley taught me?
Not even close.
Sift blocks.
A
Sift blocks, he said, were the worst because you went against a guy head on head as part is like you just had to do it. That still exists.
Sift block is when you go through the line of scrimmage and you sift a backside pursuit player on the second level.
Okay. All right. Okay, so there's that. So this split flow block, is it dangerous in your opinion?
Dangerous for outside linebackers.
Is football dangerous? No,
okay,
but here's the deal too. It shouldn't be dangerous for outside linebackers because they should be playing against cut blocks and kick out blocks their entire life as an outside linebacker. So they should know the technique for that. They should spill it, they should force it, and they should play the cut block. And we are eliminating some of the most basic techniques for these players because we eliminate the plays. So now they don't know how to play against these things.
Well, that leaves us the hip drop, which we don't have time for. That could literally go on for hours. It's an argument that I understand the impetus as far as the injury to Tyreek Hill. Yeah. But again, the guy's the fastest dude in the NFL. And he stiff-armed the defender at the point of contact, which affects everyone's balance and movement and legs and everything else. I mean, you're going to try to micromanage now everyone's specific movements on a tackle?
Steve, it goes back to the day of launching to hit a player, right? And then it went from launching to making contact at all with a player's head. You go around and ask every skill player in the NFL, would you rather be hit up high or hit low in your knees? They're going to say, hit me high.
Yeah. Right.
Your knees, once you get that surgery, they're never the same. They're never the same.
That's your moneymaker right there. I know this, the hip drop was the only way we could tackle Jimmy Economist in our sandlot, or not our sandlot, but our park games we played, no pads. He was such a horse. I mean, we learned that as kids. How are you going to bring him down? He was a moose. You had to grab onto his back and then literally fall on his legs. I can't believe we didn't break legs playing no pad tackle football as a kid.
You know why?
Did you guys play that as a kid? Billy,
get yourself back on out there and try it again.
Did you play tackle no pad football growing up before you played organized?
Oh, yeah. While we were playing organized.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
100%.
Saturday mornings.
With bigger, older kids. And it taught you a lot of ways to try and make tackles. It taught you keep your head out of there because you don't want your head hitting their knee.
Right.
It actually taught you how to play. I don't see kids playing tackle football out in the fields very much anymore like you used to.
No.
But it goes again, when you take away a player's ability to tackle, now they're turning into full speed snipe shots versus actually tackles. And what's gonna hurt worse? A runner running at full speed, and then a guy sniping. He might miss 9 of them, but the one that he hits, it's gonna be devastating.
Yeah. Force equals mass times acceleration. The only thing you control is mass. Weight limits per category of player would be the only way to truly dial down the ferociousness of the NFL, and nobody would be in favor of that. So you can't tell guys to run slower, that's for sure. So. All right, Tag, you're it. 9 to noon is next. Billy, feel better? Josh, great job today. We'll see Butchie tomorrow. Does anyone know a wine guy? Butchie wants to know because he needs to buy a good bottle of wine.
Yeah, if you know a wine guy,
asked us that in a text.
Send him.
Yeah.
Did you just say listen to noon to 3?
I literally said, are you joking? And he
said, are you kidding?
No, I'm a beer guy. I went
to go to the store, look at the price tag.
No. Go to Mike Heller. Look, this is
Go
thick.
to Mike Heller. End of story. Tag, you're it. 9 to noon is next. Fellas, thank you, and we will see everyone tomorrow.